Thanks for logging in and visiting our website to see the presentation. This is Scouts Hereford and Worcester, and I'm here to talk to you about our planned expedition to Norway in 2020. It's open to all Scouts, and that's Scouts age when they book on the 15th of June. So as they get older, if they end up in Explorers by the time they go, then that's fair game. They're allowed to come. And it's also open up to young leaders who may wish to join the trip. Now, it's a 1 week trip in the summer holidays, based in the, now I have to forgive me on this, the Hardanger region. There's quite a few Norwegian words as we go through this presentation, and my articulation is not fantastic when it comes to pronouncing them, so please do forgive me. So it all starts, we're going to fly out to Norway. We're going to fly from Birmingham to Bergen, and we plan to do that on or around the 25th of July in 2020. The trip will be for 7 days. Now we're saying on or around the 25th of July just because we won't confirm this date until we actually book the flights. So when you're arranging any family holidays or elements like that, please bear this in mind. But as soon as we've got the full numbers from June this year, we'll be able to confirm that with the flights and let everyone know. Now we'll fly into Bergen, but we'll fly out of Oslo because our plan is we're going to travel through Norway using the public transport, bus and trains, which in Norway are very well timed and very reliable. So looking forward to using them. As we travel through Norway, we're going to be staying in hostels with overnights in Bergen and Oslo, and mainly in Mosfell as well. Now, the type of accommodation we're staying in is equivalent in this country to the YHA. So, looking at hostels with secure accommodation for young people, where they'll be staying in their own rooms, in bunk rooms, and obviously adult leaders in their own rooms, but won't be sharing with other members of the public. We'll pick hostels, so we will pick hostels that are obviously all secure just for our own young people. We won't end up sharing shared accommodation space in terms of relaxation areas or cooking, but in terms of sleeping, it will be all secure. Now, the programme for this expedition just doesn't start in Norway in 2020. There are a few things before we go that we'll be doing. On the 15th of September, we'll have a meet-up day where everyone who's going gets to meet each other, and we start to work out how we can fundraise certain elements and look at a bit more detail into the programme so we can youth shape that. We'll do something very similar on the 12th of January in 2020. And then our third one will be a training weekend at Kimber, our county campsite, and that will be on the 14th to the 15th of March. And we'll release details of those once you've signed up to the trip, but essentially leave both days, or leave all days, I should say, available to come along. Now, we do strongly urge that everyone does come along to these days, and the training weekend is mandatory in order to come on the trip. But in terms of fundraising efforts, if parents just wish to contribute, that's perfectly fine. But in terms of the fundraising events, it's all optional. Now, the actual trip to Norway will obviously fly out in July in 2020, and we'll fly into Bergen, where we'll spend a day there sightseeing and shopping, and we'll spend overnight in a hostel. And then we'll travel to our main hostel in Morfell, where we'll end up doing some mountain walking, a day event out that way. We'll spend a day canoeing and kayaking on the fords, so one up in the air and one down below. And then also we'll end up doing a glacier trip where you'll end up getting your crampons and ice axes, and we'll go up into the mountains and explore the glaciers up there. Now, all activities that we do will be fully insured, and all activities will be with suitably qualified and accredited instructors. Now, some of those instructors might be our own county staff, or we'll actually purchase the instructors when we get out there. Now, after we've been on the glacier trek on day 5, we'll travel down to Oslo, and we'll spend a day and overnight stay in Oslo where you can do some sightseeing and shopping, and then on day 7 we'll fly home. Now, the cost for this trip and all the pre-camps is £875. Now, that will include all the flights from Birmingham to Norway and back again, all internal travel and rail transport whilst we're out there. It doesn't include getting to the airports in Birmingham, that'll be down to yourself, But over in Norway, all the accommodation and food and all the activities are included that, including insurance. And our insurance company that we will be using will be Unity. It's a Scout-owned insurance company. It's very friendly to scouting activities. In that money is also the contingency fund. Now we're fixing the cost at £875. We don't intend to go over that, and obviously we've built the contingency into that. But with Brexit still floating around, we're not 100% certain how stable the prices will be. But we will obviously update you as and when any changes occur. But like we said, we've built in the contingency fund to allow for any Brexit implications or various elements such as that. The cost also includes a unit hoodie and a UK necker as well, and it also includes the pre-camp at Kimber and all the food and activities at Kimber, but not obviously the cost of getting there. You'll have to do that yourself. And the day visits that we're going to have planned, a couple of those obviously included, but they're just the cost of hiring a local scout venue just so that we can meet together. So all in all, £875 that can be spent or paid for, sorry, by parental contributions. But also we'd like the young people to do some of the fundraising as well, so that they've taken a part in paying towards this trip. There is a payment schedule for this trip. It's detailed on the screen. The first payment is £75, which is a non-refundable deposit, which is due by the 15th of June. This confirms your place, and once we've received that, the leaders will send out a welcome pack with a bit more detail and a more in-depth application form in terms of personal details that we will need for pre-camps and pre-events. Then there's a payment plan there of £100 every month, except for December and January with a festive period. We thought it'd give parents an opportunity to have a break. Now those £100 are due by those dates. They can either be paid for by parental contributions, or you can pay for it through fundraising. If you pay more before that month, obviously you're on track, and we would be very concerned if people fell behind paying in by these dates, just so we know that everyone is on track and good to go. If there are any financial hardships or applications for grants from the county, we'll take those into consideration with the payment schedules as well. Now I mentioned that we had pre-trip activities. We have a pre-weekend camp in Kimber in March, which will be 2 days training, and then obviously the days in September and January. Now those 2 days are singular days, and they'll just be fun days, getting to know everyone and sort various elements of the trip out. And the weekend camp will sort to drill down sort of cooking training and hygiene and getting ready for the various activities and managing expectations and social media and all various elements. Now in between all those dates, there will be various fundraising days. As a unit, we intend to offer 3 opportunities for fundraising for backpacking, and we'll try to sort of cluster those around the county depending on who signs up, and any other events as well that we could do for fundraising. Now these generally be run by yourself or in your own district if you've got a few that are in the same district, where you could run bingo nights or fun nights or race nights or barn dances, various elements like that to bring in some income to help fundraise for the trip. As we get closer, more than likely in June in 2020, we'll do an information evening for parents just to confirm all the various elements. Potentially there could be one a bit earlier. We'll just see how things are going, but more than likely that won't be until the June in 2020. As discussed earlier, we will be helping everyone within this unit to fundraise, and we will help with idea generation to see how we can be creative and utilise that to the best of their advantage. Adults that are coming on this trip will be paying their own way, and they will be invited to join in the fundraising as well. And we'll look at reducing the overall costs, looking at grants with various organisations. And some people might be able to fund match as well if they work with a bank or a company that offers to match pound for pound. Like I said, we'll try and do 3 backpacks and look at all various fun nights that we can do. Now, on average, an average backpack brings in £1,000. A fun night can be anything from £200–300 up to £1,200, depending on what you're running. It depends what the competition is and what other fundraising activities are going on with various other scouting activities and group fundraising. There's always a bit of competition, but we'll do our best to support that. And equally, you might find that your own group might support fundraising efforts for those scouts that could be going as a troop, or could be going as a collection of friends that have decided to sign up to this county trip. So in terms of who's coming along to this trip, there's a core team of county leaders that have designed this trip and willing to facilitate its expedition. Any adult leader within the county is invited to attend, and if any of those leaders wish to take on a more senior role within that core team, then more than welcome to, and the county will support that development of those leaders. In terms of scouts, we do need a minimum of 20 to attend in order to make the trip viable. And those scouts who are scouts on the 15th of June are allowed to come. If they turn into explorers by the time we go, then that's perfectly fine. And any young leader that wishes to come along is more than welcome to as well. Now, in terms of who can book on, whole troops are more than welcome to book on, or a selection, or just friendship groups. It's entirely up to you. This trip is a county trip. It's put on for where districts might not be able to provide, or it could just be something extra that you may wish to do. It's all part of the scouting programme, and it promotes our international programme, travelling abroad, and what better place to do it than in Norway. No specialist kit is required for this trip. You should have in scouting by now a fairly large rucksack. Keep all your things in there. We're staying in hostels, so there's no need for roll mats, but you would need a sleeping bag, an inflatable pillow. It's a good idea. And then the usual things like wash kit and sunblock and towels, head torches, various items of clothing and waterproofs. Nothing that you wouldn't normally have for a camp. But what we do say is you do stuff all those into individual expedition dry bags just to keep everything nice and secure and snug in that bag. All specialist kit that will be used, whether that be water-based or mountain-based, is provided by the county, or actually we'll hire it when we get out there from the bespoke activity suppliers. So we've got a great week's programme, a nice training schedule building up to that, and good support in terms of fundraising, and not much kit required. So if you're still thinking, yes, I want to come along, then why not register? You can register at scoutshw.org.uk/events/Norway-2020. Or if you just go to scoutshw.org.uk, look under events, you'll see the link there. And in that link will be a copy of this video, but also various items, but a link to an online form where you can register your details. Once you've registered your details, you will get an invoice and an email from the county team to acknowledge that. And once that invoice is paid, which is for your non-refundable deposit, your place will be secure. Obviously, as we said, we need at least 20 people to make this trip viable. The deposits will be refunded if we don't get that 20 figure. If you've got any questions, then please get into contact with either myself, I'm Sid, or Robert Sidley, County Commissioner, or John Clark, who is Deputy County Commissioner for Activities. Our details can be found on the website, but my email address is cc@scoutshw.org.uk, and John Clark's email is dcc.activities@scoutshw.org.uk. We look forward to your applications, and hopefully we'll see you soon.